Okay, my dear friends, yes, this is also a topic that a lot of students have inquired. Okay, sir, please make a video on this, please make a video on this. Okay, and there I am with some data, with some research, and with some solid advice on what is the right way to write the IDT or the GST paper in Inter CA in November 23 exams, or for that matter I will say any exam, right? Okay, because this remains the same. This what remains the same, right? So all I would like to say is, my dear friends, understand one thing. I've divided the entire section into three parts: the 8 marker questions, the 6 marker questions, and the 3 or 4 marker questions, right? This is the general division of your 28 marks GST paper, right? Now the first I am targeting is the 8 mark question, and for reference we are taking last 3 to 4 attempts ke papers on how you need to write. Okay, understand. The first 8 marker question will always be a question where you will be asked to find out the net GST liability, where you will be asked to find out the net GST liability. Okay, so now there will be adjustments where you will have to basically comment on कि अच्छा ये output tax है, तो there are two things in output tax: value and rate. So in that case there will be a lot of cases where that value is either taxable or exempt, intra or inter. It can be composite supply, mixed supply, right? So anything in and around that can be asked in the output tax wala part, because output tax is nothing but value of supply that you have given multiplied by rate of tax, right? So to play with rate of tax they will play with mix and composite supply. To play with value they will either take the value of supply chapter into account, either they will take the exemptions wala chapter into account, or for that matter the supply wala chapter into account कि supply ही नहीं है तो कहाँ से liability आएगा. Okay, so remember that thing very well, right? And the second part of the question is ITC. So here ideally, you know, they will basically focus on ITC chapter. Well, mostly either they will tell कि भाई अच्छा either any of the 16 section is not satisfied, either 17.5 is not satisfied, something on those lines, right? So that is that. Okay, and this is this. Now you reduce it, and finally net cash payable, net tax payable in cash comes out as the outcome, right? So understand here what will happen is that this ITC, okay, you will also by the way have to use the concept of payment of tax, manner of utilization of ITC, where payment of tax chapter will be taken into account. So with respect to payment of tax chapter, understand that in this 8 marker question, blindly one note you will always land up writing is what? The payment of tax wala notes, because that is a generic thing. You have to write that IGST will be used to pay off IGST liability, and then once it is exhausted then you can use it to pay off CNS, you know. So I'll just show you a couple of these notes. Okay, so just check the notes here, right, and read it very carefully, right? Because they have done nothing but they have just in words they have, you know, narrated the entire manner of utilization of ITC. तो ये note तो लिखना ही पड़ेगा. You will have to write this note come what may, right? This has certain marks, so make sure, because you will see this. For example, this was the May 23 paper, right? Then if I go May 22 paper, I'm so sorry, right? Then if you go to let's say December 21, उसमें भी आप देख लो तो उसमें भी क्या है, you know, अच्छा उसमें ऐसा कुछ है नहीं एडजस्टमेंट. लेट मी शो दिस. So this is what May 23. No, I'm so sorry. What is this? This is May 22. Okay, this is May 22. My bad. तो May 22 है. ओके May 23 देखो, दिस इज May 23, उसमें भी आपको देखने मिल रहा है, राइट। तो मैं सिर्फ यही बोल रहा था कि भाई सुन, एक चीज़ पकड़ के रखना, और वो है ये कि जैसे November 22 है तो उसमें भी क्या है, दे हैव रिटन दिस। सो वन थिंग, मेक इट वेरी 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 क्लियर एट योर एंड, and that is that you have to show payment of tax ka notes. You will have to show payment of tax ka notes. So write that one. Also, okay, if you are taking certain stand in case of output tax, composite supply है, mixed supply है, right, या फिर in that scenario it is a supply or not a supply, or it is exempt or it is taxable, whatever, or for that matter value of supply का कोई चीज़ है जो इंक्लूडेबल है या एक्सक्लूडेबल है, जस्ट मेक श्योर दैट यू राइट द नोट। ओके, नाउ आइडियली व्हाट यू शुड राइट इज टेक अ पोजीशन आउट देयर, डू द सम, एंड नीचे आराम से यू कैन जस्ट गिव द रेफरेंस, एंड नीचे आराम से बॉटम ऑफ द क्वेश्चन वंस यू आर डन विद द एंटायर सॉल्विंग पार्ट यू राइट द नोट्स, ठीक है। बट मेक श्योर यू सब्सटेंशिएट एवरी टाइम यू टेक अ पोजीशन, यू सब्सटेंशिएट दैट। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ओके, इफ यू कैन सी दिस May 23 वाला पेपर, तो they have said कि okay, in this scenario they have said that whatever position they have taken, it is either a mixed supply or a composite supply, तो they have written it here, right? तो उन्होंने वही लिख दिया है वो चीज़। So you will have to justify your position by stating it. You can't just take that position, you have to justify that. So make sure that whatever position you've taken, you communicate that to the examiner that listen, there is a reason I have multiplied this value with this rate. I have not just done because I could see my see a person ahead of me doing the same, which is why I have done this. No, there is a logic, there is a provision behind it, and this is where I am stating it. So write down that provision. Don't just blatantly take a position. Write it down, right? Makes sense. Also understand that with respect to ITC, right, with respect to ITC, okay, firstly you have to show this as a different computation. तो एक अलग से computation का क्या है बना देना, okay, just like this, if you can just see, okay, देखो ये पूरा computation है यहाँ पे ITC का, right, where they have clearly shown that either this is blocked or allowed or RCM, whatever the case may be. They've showed it properly in a table, and they've also showed CGST, SGST, IGST in case the bifurcation is already given, right? So make sure that you do this. Okay, make sure that you do this, my dear friends. Okay, that you give the reasoning that why ITC is allowed or blocked or RCM. Okay, you have to tell that, right? And you have to communicate that and show different ITC अवेलेबल वाला अलग से एक हमेशा मेक श्योर दैट यू मेक अ नोट ओनली, ओके, एंड जैसे ही वहाँ पे टोटल आ जाता है, टेक दैट नोट इन द अपर वाला टेबल वेयर बेसिकली देर इज नेट GST लायबिलिटी का कंप्यूटेशन, देर विल बी आउटपुट टैक्स के नंबर्स, देर विल बी ITC के नंबर्स, एंड देन अकॉर्डिंगली start setting it off against the liabilities and make sure that you pay it off finally. Okay, right? So there are 3 important aspects that you need to take into consideration. सबसे पहला, in 8 marks make sure that there will be 2 parts. There will be output tax, there will be ITC. Output tax, try to solve it first because that will win your confidence, because what will happen is that you exactly know that okay, 50% output tax है, 50% ITC का computation, output tax gets resolved, then focus on ITC वाला part, right? And as soon as you realize okay, this is taxable, this is exempt, this value needs to be multiplied by this rate, make sure that you start writing that in your notes. Okay, make sure that you start writing that in your working notes. Is that very clear, my dear friends? Yes. Okay, so this has to be very clear at your end. Okay, perfect. And payment of tax ka notes, don't miss out on that irrespective of whatever it is. In case the liability is in C, S and I, and you have to pay it, which wo hoga hi 99% it will be there because it's an 8 marker question. They will give you such adjustments. So write that note. People miss out on writing that note. Okay, Perfect. Next is a 6-marker question. Now if you will see a 6-marker question, okay, you will realize that, okay, it's something like this. For example, 6-marker question was in November 22, something like this. This was an entire DCA wala question, right? If I'm not wrong, this is 6-marker. Again, this is output tax minus ITC, so the entire format remains the same. But if something like this comes up, May 23 wala, right, where understand that it is culmination of all the adjustments, you know. So we have, if you will see, you have RCM here, you have supply out here, you have exemptions, right, you have again RCM and exemption combined. So in such cases what you will do is, okay, just check out this, okay, take that position, okay, take that position, okay, taxable है तो लिख दो, नहीं है तो फिर क्या है, dash कर दो, take that position. And okay, while you are taking that position, there and there itself, okay, don't write it separately. Not that your marks will be deducted, but your time will be saved immensely. Okay, so if you will see these things, you will realize that they have written the reasons in short, very cut to cut. Okay, for example, in this case, the first wala, they have not said, okay, a recovery agent providing service to bank or NBFC RCM will apply. Simple. Tax payable, okay, tax payable by NBFC under RCM. Simple. They have just taken the position, and which is why it will not be the liability of Mr. Jayesh but of the recipient. Okay, so in this, if you are unsure, you can just write that if a recovery agent is providing service to NBFC, NBFC will pay the tax. Simple. Next is actionable claims received from normal business debtors. Understand in that situation that it is covered under Schedule 1 activity, Schedule 3 activity. They've clearly just mentioned that it is neither supply of goods nor supply of services according to Schedule 3. As simple as that. Got it? As simple as that, right? So they have written all the reasons in short, cut to cut. They have not spent a lot of time in explaining what the reason is. Okay, so please make sure that in this situation, my dear friends, you only take care of the reasons, but in short, cut it short, right? Also, if I will show you December 21 paper, usme bhi similar things have been asked, right? The entire, this is more or less the entire exemption wala thing. So there you are taking a position that security service to preschool, or you know, this service to that institution, it is either taxable or exempt. So just check out the reasons. Just check out the reasons here, right? For example, online magazine students to law college. So as you will know that if this service is provided to a institution which gives degree, there will be exemption. So now supply of online education journals provided to an education providing qualification recognized by law, cut, exempt. Keep it short, keep it short. Okay. अच्छा, ऊपर वाला देखो, not exempt लिखा है, क्यों? Because this is given to a commerce college. Transportation service, you remember that it is exempt only when it is case of preschool से लेके high school. But this is degree college, recognized institution which gives degree recognized by law. उनके लिए taxable है, तो बोल दिया not exempt. आप taxable भी लिख सकते हो वहाँ पे. You can also write taxable, not an issue. But you write that since transportation services provided to education institution are exempt, only if such institutions are preschool to HSC. And not any degree college that gives degree. Got it? So you write the reason it is taxable. Why? Because exemption किनको है, इन्हीं को है. Simple. And cut it that. Cut it. Okay. Then don't go and extrapolate saying that, but in this scenario the recipient is a commerce law college that is basically an institution that gives degree that is recognized by law, which is why it is taxable. No. You have clearly mentioned the condition and it is not adhering to that, hence it is taxable. Simple. Housekeeping service to 2 each. इसमें तो उन्होंने क्या रीजन भी नहीं लिखा, सीधा लिख दिया नॉन टैक्सेबल, not exempt. But according to me, you should just write a short line that says that since again you will, or either possibly just repeat this reason, or you can just combine all of these things, especially if it's related to one service. You can just combine that in case 1, 2, 3. services were provided, okay, to preschooler HSC exempt, otherwise not. That's it. You can just cut it off that way. That if transportation, housekeeping, cleaning, और कौन सा है, catering service, right? और कौन सा मिसिंग है, security service, if given to preschool or high school it is exempt, and if given to any other institution it will be taxable. Simple. And you can just give reference to all of these things in the below note. Keep it short. When it's a 6 marker question, keep it short, because the question must be long that you have to solve. So keep it short and just wrap it up, right? Security services provided to education institution providing education up to are exempt, और इसीलिए आपने जो HSC वाले को दिया है वो exempt है. Simple. Got it? Yes. And last comes, my dear friends, is a 3 marker or a 4 marker question. So if you can see, this is the 4 marker question specifically related to registration. So here specifically with respect to registration there are issues. Why there are issues? Because understand that Madhya Pradesh would attract a certain threshold limit, Tripura would attract a certain threshold limit, Gujarat would attract a certain threshold limit. I'm just saying, right? So sir, do we have to write the notes for all the 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 40 lakhs? No, just check what have they written. What have they written? They've just written a person engaged in making taxable supplies is required to obtain registration if it exceeds 20 lakhs. Enhanced threshold limit 40 lakhs is only applicable for per person exclusively making intrastate taxable supplies of goods. And 10 lakh का बोल दिया for special category states. One of them is, okay, Tripura. You can just write down because that is in the case study. तो ये कॉमन लिख दिया आपने, कॉमन लिख दिया, उसके बाद धड़ 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 आंसर दे दो 1 2 3 करके, right? So just make sure that you write in the 3 marker and 4 marker questions, okay, the pattern that you follow is very simple. The pattern has to be ideally provision, then case, and then the conclusion, right? Sometimes the case and the conclusion can be one and the same. The lines can be blurred at times and you can accordingly figure out how it is. Okay, तो बस इतना ही करना था एंड इतना ही बताना था आपको कि इस तरह से लिखना है भाई, ज़्यादा लोड मत लेना, राइट? एंड देयर इज नथिंग very rocket science in this, that how to write a taxation paper. If you have taken a certain position, whether a services or goods is taxable, or it is exempt, or it is a supply, or it is not a supply, right? Or it is covered under compo scheme, or it is not covered under compo scheme, understand, you know that there is some logic behind this. There is some logic behind this. You know there are certain conditions that transaction is either satisfied or not satisfied. If you know it, because on that basis only you know the answer, correct? All you have to do is just write what you know. Just write what you know in your own language that makes sense. That makes sense. फिर ऐसा लिखोगे कि यार अच्छा 40 lakhs limit is applicable for intrastate supply of exclusive supplier of service, not goods, then that is wrong. You should know the concept well. But that also means that if you know the concept wrong, your answer will also be wrong. But if you know the concept well, you can easily frame the answers. Understand? ICI is not looking out for some grammatical superlative Shashi Tharoor English. It is looking out for simple English, and that is what you need to do. Okay, that's it. Okay, Balram, tu tension mat le beta. This is not for you. This is for people who are appearing for their exams in some time. So if you want to watch my lectures, you can watch my Hindi playlist. Okay, I'm sure you will understand that. ठीक है, जस्ट गो इन द प्लेलिस्ट सेक्शन, उसमें हिंदी में चले जाओ, आपको समझ आ जाएगा. ओके, दैट्स इट माय डियर फ्रेंड्स. आई फील आई हैव created enough content to help you get that 40 marks in your GST, right? We have posted a lot of things, detailed revisions, marathons, one concept, one question. We have something like correct. We have amendments, we have RTPs and MTPs ka compilation, we have Q&A marathon. We have done every possible thing on earth that can help you get 40 on 14 GST, come what may. I don't give a damn whether the paper is easy or difficult. On the top of it, I've also created 3 more videos that's talking about 1.5D strategy, the 3R strategy on how to attempt the taxation paper, and also this as to how will you write the indirect tax or for that matter GST answers in your paper. Okay, so that's it. I've tried my level best, my dear friends, to help you in every possible way. I hope all of this effort helps. You don't need to watch each and every video. You watch video which you think makes sense. All the very best, my dear friends. Okay, and yes, I'm really looking forward that I can see a lot of confidence and a lot of hope in the fact that you've taken the right steps, and I'm really looking forward to see your feedback post your exams. All the very best, guys. Love you.